So currently, Maher, we have 15, including us on the call. So this is our very first call.
Hey, 15 is a good number. I like that. You know, if we can make a difference, Shazia, in just one person's life, then I think we've accomplished the goal.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's not,
And
it's not the quantity, it's the quality, I always say. So if we can make a difference in, again, in just one person's life, and we have used to do these calls in the past, and so it's great to see a success story. So
absolutely. And it's good to see enthusiasm, timing, punctuality. I can see it all kicking in because many of you have come in um, pretty much on the ball. I have a few more popping in, and it's good to see everybody from everywhere around the world as well.
I
So
think we have people from about 7 countries right now. A lot from the US. We have UK. I see people from Europe, South America, Spain.
absolutely. And they're still coming in as well.
Yeah,
Gonna get
and what an amazing co-host that we have with each other. I could not be
18,
happier to do.
right. Okay, so I think we're 6:03 p.m. UK time. And if I were to just go through the list, I can see many names. And you know what? That's the important thing. So I can mindset.
Switzerland.
Switzerland as well. So we're totally going global. I can see India. The
Yeah, India. Set in the chat where you guys are from. Love to hear from you.
Let's kick off, everybody. If you put in where you're from, that'd be pretty amazing while I continue letting people join us.
And you know what? I love that people have their cameras on. That's just that's amazing. I know that some of you guys cannot because maybe you're at work or in the middle of something, or maybe just getting up, depending on what part of the country you're at. I have someone that is going to be joining us from China, actually, and it's 2
Oh,
a.m. in China right now.
brilliant. Okay. Last I looked, I had 16 registrations. Obviously, we exceeded. So I think we're ready to start, Maher. What do you reckon? I think
Yeah,
everyone's super excited. It's a new segment, new launch, Mindset Matters.
absolutely. So I want to thank everyone for being here today. It's an honor and a blessing to be able to have these mindset sessions powered by Qminds and QBN. Um, you know, my name is Maher Awad. Most of you guys know me. A few of you guys do not. It's an honor and a pleasure and a blessing. You know, I've been blessed beyond imagination, both spiritually, financially, with a great family, and I think it's my due diligence, my job to give back the knowledge, give back. If I can make a difference, like I said earlier in this call, in one person's life by something I say or motivation, then that's those are the goals that I'm looking for and what I'm wanting to achieve with these videos. And so I'm so glad this is the very first Qmind mastermind sessions, and what an honor to be doing it with such an amazing individual, Shazia Hussain. I'll go ahead and introduce her a little bit. Her list of accomplishments will probably take all 30 minutes. So I'm going to summarize just briefly what I know about her. First and foremost, she is an amazing, amazing individual at heart. She cares. She's here truly by no other reason other than she cares and wants to make a difference in people's lives. So to me, that's so invaluable. Um, she's an entrepreneur. She's started many companies. She's co-founder of several companies. She's the owner of Oxfordian College. She's based out of the UK. She's a PhD in education, correct, Shazia?
Yep.
Yes, holds master's degrees in education. I mean, her knowledge in education is at the top 1%, I would say, in the world. She's joined QPN with us about from the very beginning 5 years ago, and made amazing accomplishments with the company. Qminds, and it's myqminds.com for those of you that are not part of QPN at the moment. It's all thanks to the development and hard work of Shazia. Beyond an entrepreneur, she's a mastermind coach. She's a mentor, amazing mother, beautiful human being at heart. So I'm going to pass the call on to her just to introduce herself and say hello.
Oh, thank you, Maher. As usual, it's a pleasure to be here with you. And my journey with QBN has been phenomenal. And just to give those of you who are new to the call, who perhaps have never ever heard of what is QBN and what Maher is talking about, QBN is an organization that we have built by people, for people, very democratic, and it's got a separate vision and mission. And we will touch more on that. And Qminds is part of the ecosystem of QBN, where we're just here to help individuals, the average people, to benefit. And that's the purpose of these calls. Now, Maher is a co-founder of that company, QBN. And again, I'll put it in the chat. It's www.myqbn.com. So sometimes you have to talk and write at the same time. So being a co-founder, he's also president and CEO A&W Distributors, a wholesale distribution center for car, audio, and electronics. He has been in multiple businesses for a very long time. Also, alongside that, he's a president and CEO of Apollo Window Film and a private label window film manufacturing company. He's also a commercial real estate investor, qualified and graduated in business management marketing. He has a phenomenal skill set of speaking multiple languages, at least 4. He trades stocks, crypto, Forex, and obviously, what is most important, he is the 7th degree black belt in Shaolin Kung Fu. So he is a man of multiple talents. And many of you probably didn't know as much about Maher that you have found out today. And Maher has been passionately delivering mindset sessions for a while prior to Qminds as well. So we decided that we'll bring together our wealth of knowledge to help all of those of you who have joined us today. So I'm just going to quickly ask Maher just to give them the vision of QBN, so that, again, we've got a few new faces who are out of QBN, just to give them an understanding of what we do and why we are here, why we want everybody, like he said, give back what you have gained over the years.
Thank you, Shazia. Before I get started, I want to say there were 3 individuals today when I texted this link to them that said that they were not going to be able to join because of this reason or that reason or traveling. And, my response to them, and I'm so proud of them for actually joining the call, even after saying that they were not available, because part of mindset is not missing an opportunity to enhance and better yourself, correct? I mean, we all want to continue improving. We all want to continue developing our mindset. We all want to continue becoming better parents, better athletes, better CEOs, better whatever it is. So even myself, I'm always challenging myself. And something I tell my children a lot is, don't compare yourself with anyone else. Compare yourself with yourself. Are you going to be a better version of yourself tomorrow than you are today? And so that is the number one rule that I'm implementing in my children. And of course, these sessions, we're going to help you pave your road to success, both financially, mentally, spiritually, whatever your goal is going to be. That's what these sessions are for. We started QBN about 5 years ago with the purpose of helping people around the world. Our company is for anyone, whether you have no education or a PhD or an MD. We have people of all levels of education. We have people in over 14 countries that are part of our company. We have over 5,000 people since we've started. And so we've created a platform that's diversified, that you can play an active role and being your own CEO and creating a team, or you just want to continue what you're doing and just have a little side, diversify, and a portfolio where you can just put some funds in and just watch your residual income come week after week. So that was the mindset of QBN, was continuing and wanting to give back to the community. Thank you, Shazia.
Yeah, and I think it's really powerful, the fact that when a company has a vision to give back to the community, especially when they're sitting in their comfort zone and they don't really need to come out. And I'm going to add to what Maher said, that when QBN was born, it was also born because we were sick and tired of any other type of companies like ours who weren't taking people seriously. And it was about being able to be integral, ethical, and ensure that what we put together is really going to benefit the average person. And I think that's really important. The average person. There are a lot of entities out there for those who have high net worth and who can make their funds work for them and build that. I will always call it the engine of their life that automates everything and makes them live the life of their choice. So that was really, really important, I think. I think you'll agree on that, Maher.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Thank you for that. I agree 1,000,000%. And I want to move on to saying that I was looking at statistics this morning, and over statistics will show and prove that over 90% of the people on this call are not going to do anything at all after this call, because we're humans are creatures of habit. And so you and I, Shazia, we're here to prove those statistics wrong. We're here to tip the balance in our favor and to make a difference in people's lives, to create an energy, a motivation, a movement to where people can find the courage and find the path into stepping out of your comfort zone, into surrounding yourself around like-minded people and people that are going to challenge you, make you better. So again, that's one of our main goals with these mindsets. And this is just one of many, many, many series. And we were going, Shazi and I were going back and forth, and it's going to be a progressing series. So please invite your friends, your family, anyone that you think that will benefit from this to these calls. It will be today was more of an introduction. We're going to talk a little bit about mindset. I'm going to let Shazia start off with one of the principal rules of mindset and the reason why you want to do what you want to do. So, Shazia, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Maher. And just again to add, every single week we will try to add value through stories that people have to share, their experiences, because we all have a different model of the world. And we need to hear from many different individuals to figure our own out. But first and foremost, can everybody put in the chat, what is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing in life? What is the purpose for you doing what you're doing, regardless of what you're doing, whether you're in QBN or not? Can you just put in the chat box? We'd love to see what is your purpose of what you do in life.
Is it for your children? Is it for your family? Is it for yourself? Do you have a sick family member that you wanna help out? Everyone has a reason why they're here and why you want to continue to improve. I know, and here's something about your reason why. Your reason why is can change throughout the years. As we continue developing and growing and achieving those goals and the successes, the reason why can also continue to change, and that's really important to know. So your one reason why doesn't have to be your reason why forever. So Mason, thank you for that comment. Absolutely, completely agree with you. To show the impossible is possible.
Yeah, I do see lots of comments coming in. Come on, there's lots of you. I'd love to see more coming in. It's really important because if you don't have a why, like Maria said, that's why the statistics say what they say, because we don't have a purpose for making ourselves more disciplined in what we do. And that's where mindset comes in. And as you're popping your why in, I'm just going to start off with a story as to where the journey began with me. I was a grassroots head teacher, and the purpose is just to give you what is possible over a period of time. And I had met my goal, like Maya said, goals keep changing, your why keeps changing. My initial why in life was to get qualified, to have a corporate roles in life of some kind. I was brought up in a family where it was very traditional. You went to school, you went to then college, university, and you had to become something. And there was no training or education around business or entrepreneurship. That wasn't thought of a proper job. A proper job is going out, spending time in an outside situation and then coming back home and having a salary coming in every single month. So that's what I grew up with. So my first why was to become a teacher and to be qualified in that. And then once I got in, it was to climb the ladder. But what happened is quite interesting. I was somebody, and without realizing from a very early age, that used to get bored easily. So while I was doing one thing, I was always simultaneously doing something else. And I didn't really realize that was intrinsic motivation until later on. And while I was training to become a teacher, and that was my why, I then landed in a network marketing role, and it was just by chance. And at that time, little did I know what that was. It was network marketing. All I knew, I saw an advert that said, would you like to take control of your time? Would you like to work the hours that suit your family? Would you like flexibility? So naturally, I got attracted to it. And this is, I'm taking you back to around about 2002, 2003. So I went to a meeting and I liked what I saw. In my brain, it was a no-brainer. And I then signed into that opportunity. And this is, I'm still training to become a teacher. That opportunity at that time enabled me to buy a car, enabled me to develop my mindset, go to trainings and get all the techniques. Now, once I trained to become a teacher, my biggest mistake was I stopped because I felt that was just a side hustle and it served me well while it was serving me. But my goal was to become a qualified teacher. Education was what was ingrained in my head. So I parked that. But what I learned on that journey, the confidence I gained, the knowledge I developed has stayed with me all of these years. So when I came into my role as a teacher, and I started to climb the ladder, I got bored again. I thought, what is this? I get up at 5:30, I'm out of the door at 6:30. I'm doing the same thing every single day. Although I loved my job of teaching, I hated the bureaucracy that came with it. Slowly and gradually, the students started to become percentages. And it wasn't about the engagement and enjoyment in the classroom anymore. It was about what percent are going to hit this target. And I was being judged on those numbers rather than the quality of education I was giving them. So again, I started looking that I thought I need to get out. And that made me think of what it was. And again, I got into, so this industry was part and parcel of me. And I kept trying out different projects aligned with what I was already doing because I was drawn into what Robert Kiyosaki said, the business of the 21st century. And that, in his words, is a business where you leverage from people. You help people. The more people you help, the better you become. The purpose of sharing that is that it's all about our belief system. And my why at that time was to get a job was monetary. But over time, my why changed because I needed my time back. I wanted the freedom to do things on my terms. So my why was, yes, the financial, as we all have, but also to live because we only live once. And I felt I wasn't living. I was not working to live. I was just working for the sake of working to pay the bills. And I was back around the cycle. So Maher, I know you've had a similar experience as well to some
Yes.
extent. And you have also got a passionate streak about this industry. So it'd be lovely to hear from your experience as well, how we perhaps differ or are similar in many ways.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And that, what a lovely story, Shazia, and thank you for sharing that with us. Mindset determines behavior, and the behavior determines results. So everyone here wants success, but only a few think in a way that leads to success. So the goals of these series that we're going to be doing over the next, 5 to 7, 8, 10, 12 weeks, is indefinite at the moment. is to reprogram belief, shape habits, and we're going to build leaders. Okay. I want to share a little story of my own that helped me have a shift in my mindset that changed the trajectory and the way I went. So I grew up, as you know, I've been in martial arts. I came to the US. I majored in when I was young. My father was an entrepreneur. Um, and I grew up in this environment where you start a business and you run that business, and that's the only business that you have. When I got involved in network marketing about 15 years ago, I learned that there were other opportunities, that people were diversifying. So, my challenge to everyone in this room is step out of your comfort zone. We're all, like I said at the beginning of this call, we're all creatures of habit. The hardest thing to do is to do something that's uncomfortable. But in order to have results and success in your life, we have to do what's uncomfortable in our life, stepping out of our comfort zone. And something that I did was join a network marketing company. What that did was lead me to a different group of people that had a different mindset. I was surrounded by people that read these books like Think and Grow Rich, The Power of the Magic of Thinking Big, How to Win Friends and Influence People. 15 years ago, I made a challenge to myself that I was going to read 2 books a year. Now I'm reading almost 1 book a month. That's a habit that developed me, that helped me become the person that I am today, that helped me create the habits that I have today, that helped me become the individual and the success that I have today. So I challenge each and every one of you on this call to pick up a book that you think will help your mindset in the direction of the goals that you're trying to achieve. Now, everyone on this call, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Financially, emotionally, spiritually? You have to ask yourself these questions, and just don't just ask them because we talk to ourselves. And another thing I tell my kids is the most important conversation you will ever have in your life is with yourself. So, and I find myself talking to myself very often, and it's great conversations, but we easily forget. And so I like to write things down, whether it's on your phone under notes, or actually physically writing it down. There's a lot of power in doing that. But where do you vision yourself in the future? Okay. Um, the habits you want to, what type of lifestyle do you want for your children to experience? What kind of leader do you want to become? You know, uh, and start off by saying, my life in 3 years looks like, and write your goals down. Set achievable goals, and those are really important because achievable goals are a sense of relief when you achieve them. It's nice to have bigger goals, and I have short-term goals and long-term goals as well. So again, um, stepping out of my comfort zone about 15 years ago helped me diversify into different areas. It made me push my limits and push my buttons to become to have the strength to and the focus and the energy to move. And I surround myself by, I think it's I'm not sure. There's a famous quote that goes, "If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room." I love to surround myself with people that know more than me in different areas and different topics. And that's how I've learned about trading in the forex market and the crypto market. If you look at my portfolio, I'm extremely diversified into traditional type businesses, into real estate, into crypto, forex, stocks, network marketing. And so my dad said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And two of my greatest mentors in my life, one was my father, and the other was my martial arts instructor, Dr. Master Silvio Azzolini, who helped me shape the person that I am today. So, Shazia, I'm going to hand it back to you to say a
I'm
few
going
words.
to add on to what Maher is saying. I've had the privilege of spending some time with him, and he is very, very disciplined to the extent that if he's not going to drink a fizzy drink, he's not going to drink a fizzy drink. So not only is he's disciplined in all aspects of his life, with everything that he's got planned, whether it's to do with food, whether it's to do with spirituality, whether it's to do with his schedule. And there is another saying that if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person, it gets done. We never in terms of mindset, use the excuse, I don't have time. Time is the same for everybody. It's how you capitalize time and compound the activities, as you've mentioned, Maher, that we are creatures of habit. And it's better to do something 10 minutes a day than try and do a binge workout, whether it's gym related, whether it's reading, whether it's studying, whatever it may be, and then not touch whatever that activity is ever again.
Read a
Um,
statistic, sorry to interrupt, but I read a statistic that said if you do something for 18 minutes a day, every day, that equals to 100 hours a year, you'll be better at that skill and that trait better than 95% of the world's population in whatever it is you're doing for those 18 minutes a day. So yeah, back to you.
And I'm just gonna just do a quick, it's not gonna be a lot, but I just want everybody to think a little bit because remember we wanted to do define your vision and ignite your why. So I then thought, let me put a visual up and get everybody to do a bit of an exercise to write down. We've already put in the chat box what your why is. I just want you to draw. So I thought rather than me to, demonstrating how to draw the circles, and it is a model by Simon Sinek, and many of you would have heard. But I just want to see what order you put your ideas down. So you've got why in the middle, that's your purpose, and then your how and the what. So just for a couple of seconds, just jot down, because they say taking it out of your head and putting it down on paper does define your why and your goals better. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds, well, 30 seconds enough, just to pop down something so that then we can do a bit of sharing in the chat box as well.
And I'm going to add something to your why. Your why becomes the most powerful only when it's connected to your daily behaviors. And we talked about daily behaviors. That's when it becomes powerful. Small, consistent steps, not big emotional movements, but small, consistent steps. And like Shazia said, I haven't had a soda, a fizzy drink in over 25 years. I gave it up. And now it's easy. I mean, all I drink is a cup of green tea in the morning and water the rest of my.
And I witnessed that, and I'm there sitting next to him having a soda, although I have also taken care of my fitness to some extent, but it's not as disciplined as mine.
I started in Ramadan in March 1st. This year, Ramadan in 2025 was March 1st. I started a habit, and my habit was to do 100 push-ups a day.
And I've witnessed that as well.
Yeah, in Barcelona, out in the restaurant, I'm at whenever it's time to do it, and it's my time to do it, I'll do it. So I do 50 in the morning, 50 at night, and I do a minute plank right after. I've increased those reps since. I'm doing 150 now a day. But even when I was sick, I had the flu, and I was complete. I had 103 fever. I was sick. I was feeling miserable. But that night, I could not go to sleep unless I did my push-ups. That's how powerful my habits become. So creating habits, starting taking small steps, believe me, I am a witness that habits can change the trajectory of your life. And so doing these, I've increased strength, I've increased muscle mass, I've created great habits. So, again, your habits determine your leadership, leadership determines your influence, and the influence builds your network and your lifestyle. So I'll hand it back to you, Shazia.
I echo that because motivation is short-lived. You can get hyped up, you can go to a Tony Robbins event and get super excited, and then you'll come back and you'll say, I'll do that tomorrow. And then you'll say, I'll do that tomorrow. And you put the notes in the drawer, and that's it, end of that. Whereas habits make it happen.
And we're going to have a session on procrastination. One of these sessions, I don't know how many weeks down, but that is going to be one of our sessions down the road is overcoming procrastination.
So coming back to this exercise, what you will have written down is for your own purpose. But Simon Sinek says most of us probably say, we look at the what, the how, and the why. So we start on the outside, normally something like, I want to buy a great phone. Okay, and it's got to look beautiful, and then we come into the middle because it's got a very, it's up to date and works. The smartphones, you can access, and basically looking for the benefits in the middle. But if you start from the middle and that's how companies like Apple work, where they start selling their belief, I believe what we create is going to, impact the future. So when you start with your belief in the middle and work your side way out, like, we believe that we're going to challenge the status quo, and then come to, and that is with the smartphone. So the belief is what people buy into. People buy into people, not into the product always. So it's really important to be connected to your why. And so when you look at your purpose, so I've seen in the chat previously, I think there was something around family, better, a lot of it was very personal. Am I correct in that, Maher? So a question for you right now, and you don't have to answer, it's a rhetorical question. So thinking about your current situation, because we all say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And like Maher said, a big percentage then do nothing. What is so critical in your life right now that has to change? Okay. What is so critical in your life right now that has to change? Now, you know that only, and it's in your mind, and it can stay in your mind. It's absolutely fine. The next question is even more important. What are you doing about it? You know what's critical, and you know that change has to happen. But what are you doing about it? Because if you don't do anything, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to change, right? So you need that emotional attachment. So if I gave you an example, if in my life, if the time freedom was most critical for me, where I wanted to spend time with my girls and not have to send them to childcare 5:30 in the morning when I'm getting in that car, going to, I've hit that top end rank now, and I'm like, this is not where I wanted to be. It was not what I envisaged that my life would be like. I don't want to carry on doing this until I get a pension. So it was critical for me to take control back of my time. I had the funds. I was getting paid very well. It wasn't a financial thing. But for me, I was building somebody else's legacy, and I was at the same time sabotaging my family. So it had to change. So I had to think what was critical. I had to get out of that job. So how? There was no other option. I either had to have a plan B or whatever it may be. And so with me, just so you're aware, in 2020, I actually quit my headship and I did not have a plan B. And that was a decision for me. And I had no other person to supplement my income. I knew I had a month to get myself together. Otherwise, it was November the 20th, 2020. I still remember the date. And the reason why I did that, because I know I'm a radical person. If I sit on the fence, I'm not going to do anything. And I'm not advising, as a caveat here, disclaimer, that you do this. But for me, it was that if I don't shut one thing down, the next door for me is not going to open, because I'm going to be procrastinating and thinking that, so that worked for me. So I started picking up projects in the beginning, that were buying they were based on my own decisions. I was working harder than I ever worked before, but I had the freedom of time right from that moment that I made that decision, and the power within. And I had to have self-belief, because if I don't believe in myself, nobody else is. And I had to think, I need to make £3,000 a month at this point in time to survive. That is after everything else goes out. That was my bare minimum. And then I had to do a breakdown of how I'm going to do it. And that's what propelled me forward. But that only happened because I wrote down my why. And I was so emotionally attached to it that I had to look at it every single day to make myself do the activity, whatever that may be, the phone calls, the getting in touch, calling people that I promised I would never call again, because I knew I had something to offer. And in return, I would get the resource I needed. So I'm just going to stop the share at that point.
So amazing story. And for everyone on this call, nothing that happened to Shazia was by luck. Success is not luck. It's clarity, it's purpose, and consistent action. I need everybody on this call to know that. So things do not happen by luck. It happens with a purpose and consistent action. Surrounding yourself by people it's going to be another topic we're going to talk in the future. Is a great, but we talked your circle of friends are going to get smaller and smaller as your thinking becomes bigger and bigger. You know, there was another quote.
Why do you think that happens? Why do you think? It'd be interesting for our audience to put in the chat box. Why do you think your circle gets smaller as your vision gets bigger and bigger?
Yeah, that's I, I had a conversation with I consider him as a brother this morning about the circle of friends and your circle getting smaller and smaller. And you know, some of us might be just loners, just we really don't have anybody that think like we think. And we might have them, but they're across the world. They might be in China or Chicago or in the UK. And
Well,
we're
here
there
most
for each
people,
other.
Maher, most people are not like-minded and won't understand your why. Yeah, that's a good point. I think
That is
with me, Maher, it was that people thought I was over-ambitious and going a little bit crazy. Look at her. She was a head teacher running a school on a decent salary. And what did she do? And the other radical thing I did was I resigned with immediate effect. I wasn't going to do any notice period because I decided I'm not going to get another job. So I don't need a reference. So I took that decision. It was radical. I'm not, again, a caveat here again, disclaimer again. I'm not suggesting anybody else does that. That's too radical, but I know myself. I'm from one extreme to another. But your circle gets smaller because when people make fun of you and do not believe in you, you don't want that toxicity around you. So what do? You start moving away.
absolutely, absolutely, completely agree with that. Um, Shazia, I didn't check with you. How long are we having these sessions for?
Well, we were gonna, I mean, again, there was no fixed timeline, but for me in the beginning was, it depends on how much we keep the audience engaged. So I know the attention span sometimes is not as uh, the level of attention. It's all about the attention span. So if we are enjoying what you're hearing right now, I'd love to know. It would be good to see some hearts or some thumbs up or some emojis
Also,
coming through because
Also, we're open to suggestion as well. If there's a specific topic or anything you want to talk about on future sessions, please let us know as well. If there's maybe any topic, whether it's how to overcome failures or how to engage in talking to people, anything at all, anything that you could think of that you guys want us to interact and talk about, and maybe share some of our experiences or help you guys along the way, we are always open to suggestions. Again, this is a progressing, we don't have a set structured outline of what we want to talk about. We have a basic idea, but we want to continue progressing as these sessions continue to grow.
And I remember, Maher, you said something at the beginning about people writing down their goals and where do they want to be for in 1 year's time, in 3 years' time, and I call it writing your story. So just this one, we all have our own stories. You heard parts of my story, parts of Maher's story, and they're all connected to your why. Okay, we all have our own story, and we stay attached to it. Because, like Maya said, we tend to stay in our comfort zone and you need to get out of your comfort zone. And this can stop you from growing and living. And you want to make your life better or you want to bring about change, you need to change your story. You need to write it down. You need to visualize where you want to be because that's going to be your daily motivator. So it goes back, you really need to know your roadmap. What is your purpose? And I can assure you, my experience with QBN only has enabled a big change in what I can do. It has given me options, which means I can make choices that perhaps in the past I couldn't. If I want to get up and go somewhere, I can go and I can still work from them. I mean, my mum called me earlier today, and I know one of my friends is on the call, and she was already talking to me. I was in a meeting with her, and she said, "Are you at work or are you at home?" My mum still doesn't know how I work, and I always have to remind her I work from home. So it's the mindset again that we sometimes battle with, that you have to physically be in a different space to confirm that you're working.
Shazia, on the chat, if you don't mind putting, because we have a lot of people from the US here,
Yeah.
they're not allowed to join myqbn.com because of it's not open to the US. But part of our ecosystem is like MyQminds, MyQFX, QBN Global. So maybe you could post the
I'm putting them
MyQminds.
in, yeah.
For
What I'm
sure.
saying is ecosystem. We have an ecosystem.
Oh yeah, yeah. Do
And
that
that
one.
can be
That
accessed through the qbngroup.com and the www.qbn ecosystem. So
Yeah, if you want to know a little bit more about what we do. So, today, tonight, depending what part of the world you're at, you created your foundation. Okay. Let's build on that. Everybody on this call, we're one big family. We're here to support each other. I'm here to help in any way I can. I might reach out to you guys for advice and suggestions in the future. You guys are my family. Let's continue to grow this family. Let's invite more people to these calls. Again, you created your foundation right now in the reason in creating your reason why, creating good habits, and let's continue building on that.
And on that note, next week, we will continue. And I'm just going to quickly, I actually sent Maher a message of what we wanted to actually share with you, what we will talk about or share with you next week. So we were thinking, moving on from knowing your why, it's important, and correct me if I have selected the right one, Maher, master your inner voice and self-talk, because once you've got your why in place, what happens? Your inner voice starts telling you, no, no, Louisa, no, Pilar, what are you thinking? Are you crazy? How are you too ambitious? And then when people are not also validating what you're thinking, you start questioning yourself. You start
Yeah,
doubting yourself.
we,
And I've
we've
done that where I've,
we've talked about yeah, we've talked about the inner voice, and there's a few people here, Mason and Julio. We used to do mindset calls in the past, and that was one of our topics, and it was a great topic because, like I said earlier in this call, the most important conversation you're going to have is with yourself. So mastering your inner voice is a big one. That'll be next week's topic. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone here and continue building these sessions.
absolutely, and we do have other sessions. We have the My QFX sessions on Monday with Ashraf Noor, who is our Forex analyst and educator. They are more for those who are a little bit advanced in their understanding, because he does live analysis of the markets and takes you through that. But that's interesting in its own self. We have the Mindset Matters part of Qminds on a Wednesday, 6 o'clock. And again, we are a company for people, by people. We want your input, and so that we can make the most of helping you. And then tomorrow, Thursday, we have our trade with Krishak Nagar, who teaches the fundamentals. And I know, Louise, I've seen you on the call there, and a few others who enjoy that as well, because even if you put something in a plug and play system, if you decide to trade through our plug and play mechanism, it's good to know what's happening. It's good to have a basic understanding of what is actually happening. If somebody asked you, you know what the system is about. So it's important to join. And the biggest takeaway, and I did put that on a slide, think about what is your biggest takeaway. My biggest takeaway has been in life to invest in myself, not to invest in clothes, not to invest in makeup and hair. And well, that's something that you should invest in. But personally, my prioritization is my self-development, because I believe that the more you invest in yourself, in your knowledge, and the more lived experiences you have, you can make a difference to not only your own life, but to the lives of many, many, many others. And we weren't here talking about our experiences to impress you. We were here sharing them to express upon you that we are ordinary individuals like you. We're sitting on a call once upon a time, like you, and still sit on calls nearly every other day, like you. Only difference is that we took massive action, built habits, and are consistent as can be. There will be the odd day I will be absent from the Saturday call. There will be the odd day I'll be absent from the Thursday call. But most of you know me, have found me on social media only because of these calls, right? I don't think I'm anybody famous or anything like that. It's just that I'm out there. I put myself out there. I always say that action beats perfection. You need to actually do something and perfect it later. Those of you who become a little bit more about perfectionism first end up stalling your activity. So thank
Fantastic.
you for all joining today. I can see you are a great family. I start new, very good waves, vibes from your side. And absolutely, we're here, Sufyan, at any time to help anybody. I am sometimes, I know let me just quickly close the chat and see who's on the call. Actually, let me unpin ourselves and see who's on the call that way, and anybody can turn on their cameras and see everybody. Isabel, thank you for bearing with me. I know you reach out to me, and sometimes I'm fast and sometimes I'm not. But thank you again. Pilar, we've met, so I recognize you. Carmen, again, I get to your responses on Instagram on time, but sometimes I can be delayed. Sufyan, I've seen you often on the Forex calls on a Thursday. I think I've seen many of you. Names are coming up. Kai, some names are new, and I'll let Maher. Amita, again, thank you for joining from India and believing in what Louisa, you're always there as well. Um, Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I see Rolando, high school friend of mine, known him about 40 years ago. Mason, I've known him for a few years. He's in China right now playing basketball. He's like my younger brother. Love him. Julio Reyes, again, another brother of mine. Love you guys, and I love everyone on this family. And
If
so,
everybody can turn their camera on, then maybe we can try. If again, if you can, if you are okay to and you don't mind, then I can take a selfie. Thank you.
a group.
A group selfie. Thank you. There we
Have
go.
you highlighted on mine?
I'm going to check you now, Maher, how you're looking. Where are you?
I'm at the very beginning, right here.
Right, I'm not that quick at checking photos, but let me try another one. I always take a few just to make sure that we capture. Um,
If Shazia, if they're already registered, do they have to register every
no,
week?
I don't think that you have to register again. I believe the settings this time was once you register, you should be re-registered for the sequence. The only reason why we decided to go through the registration was so that we can, can reach out to you, to know you.
Yes.
And it also to protect us as well sometimes. So we have we know that there's a filter. We know you're serious. We know you're dedicated, um, and so forth. So again, I'm going to put in the chat the email. Many of you know. If you have any suggestions, feel free to email hello@myqminds.com. And we're always here to serve you because that's what servant leadership is about. It's not just about us, it's about what we have gained to give back to you. So thank you, Maya. Over back to you to close the call.
All right, everyone. Well, we're wrapping this up today. Good night to those of you that are in the middle of the night, and great day to those that you starting your day, depending on the part of the world you're in. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for joining this call. It really means a lot to me. Your success story is an encouragement to me. It helps me and my mission. So I love to hear how these calls are helping you overcome challenges and goals. I'd love to hear your success stories. I'd love to hear what Shazi and I are doing here is helping you overcome fears and challenges and stepping out of your comfort zone. So we'll talk about those in the future. I want to get to know more of you guys on a personal level. Let's continue to grow. Let's continue to support each other. And remember, your mindset, Marcus Aurelius said, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, our lives are what our thoughts make of it. So keep that in mind and looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.